Welcome to Iraqi Dinar, your trusted source for reliable financial news and informed analysis focused on Iraq's rapidly evolving economic landscape. Today, we bring you a monumental update. News that could not only redefine Iraq's national trajectory, but also impact global financial systems in ways that few anticipated. After years of speculation, countless online theories, and an ocean of investor hope and doubt, the moment has finally arrived. The Iraqi dinar has officially revalued. It is now trading at an astonishing rate of $3.86 USD. This is not a rumor. It's not an internet myth or a hopeful investor's dream. It's a verified, officially confirmed event, one with enormous economic and geopolitical consequences. For years, many have questioned whether this day would ever come. Currency investors, financial analysts, and Middle East observers all debated whether Iraq had the capability or the will to execute such a dramatic move. But now that moment is here, and it signals far more than a change in exchange rates. It marks a symbolic shift. Iraq is stepping forward to reclaim its place as a serious economic actor on the global stage. This change didn't happen in a vacuum. It is the culmination of strategic reforms, economic restructuring, and painstaking work carried out quietly behind the scenes. For decades, Iraq's dinar remained significantly undervalued. Despite the country's vast oil wealth and natural resources, the currency reflected a history of war, sanctions, political instability, and a struggling financial system. It was a symbol of turmoil, not potential. That narrative has now been flipped on its head. With this new valuation, Iraq is telling the world it is no longer shackled by its past. It is forging a new identity, one rooted in economic resilience and forward momentum. And the world is beginning to take notice. The journey to this moment has been long and often difficult. In recent years, Iraq has generated record oil revenues, which provided a much-needed fiscal buffer. But rather than squandering this opportunity, the Iraqi government, with support from the Central Bank of Iraq and advice from international financial institutions, began implementing smart, disciplined reforms. They introduced measures to control inflation, reduced foreign debt, and significantly built up foreign currency reserves. They strengthened domestic banks, brought more transparency to currency markets, and cracked down on smuggling and black market activity. These efforts helped restore a measure of order to Iraq's monetary system, setting the stage for something bigger. One of the most important developments was the stabilization of the financial ecosystem. The central bank enforced tighter monetary policy and strengthened regulatory oversight, gradually restoring investor and consumer confidence. What was once considered a fragile and chaotic financial environment began to mature into something more predictable and sustainable. While many saw only political headlines or the shadows of the past, Iraq was quietly laying the foundation for this moment, brick by brick, reform by reform. What we're witnessing now is the result of long-term thinking and disciplined execution. But Iraq didn't do it alone. Over the past several years, the country has dramatically improved its diplomatic relationships and trade ties with global players. The United States, China, the European Union, and neighboring Arab states have all deepened their engagement with Iraq. This growing trust, both political and economic, helped attract foreign direct investment, much of it focused on infrastructure, energy, and financial modernization. Multinational corporations that once avoided Iraq due to perceived instability began to reconsider. With a more credible currency and signs of a maturing market, long-term partnerships were formed. Meanwhile, global financial institutions such as the IMF and World Bank continued to guide Iraq's economic transformation, reinforcing its credibility and helping to introduce sound monetary principles. Private global banks, which had previously disengaged from Iraqi financial channels, also began to return. Capital markets reopened. The dinar began to circulate with greater acceptance in international transactions. Insurance costs for doing business in Iraq decreased. These were all signals that Iraq was becoming a more trustworthy economic partner. As trust in Iraq's direction grew, the dinar gained legitimacy. This shift gave the Iraqi government the confidence to announce the new official rate. And when they did, the impact was immediate and dramatic. Global currency markets reacted swiftly. Within hours, trading volumes surged on major forex platforms. Long-time dinar investors, many of whom had been dismissed or criticized for their optimism, suddenly found themselves validated. Some quickly locked in profits. Others chose to hold, anticipating even greater value as the revaluation gained further recognition. Market sentiment shifted overnight. Skeptics turned cautious. Analysts revised their models. financial institutions began reassessing their regional strategies. Iraq's dinar, once viewed as speculative and unstable, suddenly stood among the most valuable currencies in the Middle East, challenging long-time heavyweights like the Kuwaiti dinar. Domestically, the reaction was a mix of celebration and measured optimism. Iraqi citizens experienced a surge in purchasing power almost immediately. Imported goods became more affordable, international travel more accessible. Aspirations that had seemed distant, such as home ownership, foreign education, or international business ventures, suddenly felt within reach. Social media buzzed with excitement, streets filled with stories of hope and renewed national pride. And yet, experts were quick to caution, a currency revaluation of this scale comes with complex consequences. Managing inflation, ensuring financial stability, and protecting long-term savings will now be top priorities for Iraq's economic leadership. This breakthrough is undoubtedly a major win, but it also raises the stakes. Iraq must now navigate the delicate balance of maintaining this value without overheating the economy. A sudden rise in currency value can drive up demand for imports, which in turn could outpace local production and spark inflation. There's also the risk of capital volatility, where an influx or rapid withdrawal of foreign investment could destabilize markets. Furthermore, Iraq's location in a politically sensitive region means that any flare-up in regional tensions could impact investor sentiment and currency stability. The path ahead is promising, but not without its share of obstacles. For investors, the question now becomes hold or sell. There is no single correct answer. The right move depends on individual strategies, risk tolerance, and financial goals. Long-term investors may see this as a foundational moment for Iraq's economic rebirth. Short-term traders may view it as a peak worth capitalizing on. What's clear is that strategy will matter more than ever. Emotional decisions in a rapidly changing environment can be costly. The broader implications of this revaluation stretch well beyond foreign exchange markets. They touch every part of Iraqi life, its businesses, citizens, infrastructure, and future policy decisions. For the average Iraqi, this change brings new possibilities. Increased consumer confidence can boost domestic spending, which in turn may stimulate growth in sectors beyond oil, such as agriculture, tourism, retail, and technology. Entrepreneurs will likely discover fresh opportunities in a growing economy. Foreign investors are already reassessing Iraq, not as a high-risk frontier, but as an emerging market with tangible upside and a credible currency. From a macroeconomic standpoint, Iraq is now in a position to accelerate its long-delayed journey toward economic diversification. For years, over 90% of Iraq's revenue came from oil exports. A stronger currency gives the country leverage to reduce this dependence, invest in sustainable industries, create jobs, and mitigate volatility. The revaluation also reduces the cost of foreign debt, increases the affordability of imports, and enhances Iraq's bargaining power in trade agreements. It could help Iraq re-enter global economic forums with newfound credibility and eventually gain access to development opportunities and broader international cooperation. But this is just the beginning. The number $3.86 may dominate headlines, but the real story lies in what Iraq chooses to do next. A stronger currency opens doors, but it also raises expectations. The government must now manage monetary policy with care, ensuring stability, curbing inflation, and fostering sustainable growth. Ongoing collaboration with international institutions, disciplined public spending, and a clear roadmap for continued reform will be critical. Iraq must not only build momentum, it must build resilience. At the same time, this revaluation positions Iraq for deeper integration with the global economy. Regional trade blocs may now look to Iraq as a long-term partner. Its banking sector, increasingly modern and compliant, could evolve into a financial hub for the Middle East. With investment in digital infrastructure, fintech, and e-commerce, Iraq could become a gateway to regional markets. But none of this will happen automatically. Success depends on smart execution, consistent governance, and a willingness to keep pushing for reform. Currency strength alone won't drive national progress. It must be leveraged into systemic change, into economic reform, diversified growth, and the development of human capital. Iraq's path forward is full of opportunity, but it also comes with responsibility. What happens next will define the country's economic legacy. As we witness this extraordinary moment in Iraq's financial history, one thing is certain: the revaluation of the dinar is more than a monetary event. It is a symbol of transformation, a marker of progress, and a call to action. Understanding the full implications requires insight, vigilance, and informed decision-making. Whether you're a seasoned investor or someone just learning about the dinar's rise, now is the time to stay grounded and strategic. The headlines may be impressive, but the real impact will come from how individuals, institutions, and policymakers respond. Are you adjusting your portfolio? Exploring new investment opportunities? Watching closely for regional economic shifts? Every move counts now more than ever. At Iraqi Dinar Info, we remain committed to providing verified, research-backed updates and clear-eyed analysis. We're here to help you make sense of it all, with clarity, not hype. If you found this valuable, consider subscribing for continued coverage. Share this content with your network. And let us know, what's your next move? Are you holding, selling, or simply observing? This is not just a currency story. It's a new chapter in global economic history. And you